Donna invites retired NFL player Sean Landeta to the Live It Up interview gallery.
Welcome to the show, Sean. How are you today?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
It's great to see you.
Nice to see you.
What teams did you play for?
I played for 5 different teams in the NFL. Played for the Giants, the Rams, the Eagles, the Packers, and Tampa Bay, and played in the old USFL with the Philadelphia Stars. So actually that's 6 pro teams I played for.
Oh, my goodness. And how long did you play? What were the years that you were playing?
I played 1983 through 2006, so 25 pro seasons. In that one year I played 2 seasons because it was a spring league into a NFL, but 22 NFL and 3 in the USFL.
That's almost a record of sorts, isn't it? Or aren't you one of the longest players in the NFL?
Yes, I think through the years, if you look back, I was lucky enough to be able to say that. Had a lot of good people around me and was able to stay healthy, so it sure went by quick, I'll tell you that. You know, it sounds like a long time, but it was a blink of an eye.
And when you were with the Giants, I see that you brought your 2 Super Bowl rings. Can you tell me about that experience?
Oh, yeah, that was great. You know, I mean, that's your goal every year is to get in that title game. And as hard as it is to get there, it's even harder to win it. And we were lucky to win both. I mean, when I say lucky, we were a terrific team. But both games we were losing at halftime, and we were able to come back and win. And, you know, it's a great memory, great experience. And, you know, the ring's a nice memento that you keep with you through the years.
And what kind of motivation went through your mind that day? You know, let's go to the first game first. Were there pep rallies? Were there talks? Were there prayerful moments of introspection? Like, how was it for you?
Well, my whole mindset was, treat this like any other game. I mean, the whole world treats it different because of the name of the game. It's a spectacle. It's an event.
It's a party.
Tens of millions of people watching. But once you get out there in between those white lines, it's a football game. So, I told myself, treat it like that. Don't make it more than it is. And I think that helped me because, you can let the pressure get to you. But for the most part, you're doing something that you're pretty good at. That's why you're there. You've done it before. And that was my mindset.
Speaking about doing it before, what was the transition like between your rookie year when you started and then realizing that you were experienced and things started coming second nature for you?
Well, everything just got easier. The more you do anything, the better you get at it, the more comfortable you are with it. And, pro football doesn't allow you to be comfortable in the sense that every year you have to make the team. There's no guarantees. So for 20-some years, I had to stand next to 1 or 2 guys and do your best and hope they pick you. And then even after that, you still have to do well or they can change you. So, it never allows you to get comfortable, which to a point is a good thing. But the more years you do it, the more you feel good about your game and, all the little things you learn that can give you the best chance to stay in the game.
Can you tell me, too, about, there's a technique that you use about dropping the ball. Can you go through that motion again with me? It's like you're holding the ball, and then what happens? It's all in the drop, you said at one time? Or?
Yeah, no, and most punters realize that the drop is the most important thing in the sense that if the ball hits your foot the right way, it's going to be a successful punt. And that has to do with how the ball is dropped. And, there's different ways of holding it. You can hold it underneath. You can hold it on the side, on top. But most important thing is when it gets to your foot, it has to be right in the right position so that when you make contact with it, it can, aerodynamically travel as high and far as possible.
And did you start out, visualizing that whole process? Are you a visualizer? Do you, dream about it, or do you just practice, or is it a combination of both?
No, for me it was a combination. I mean, it's almost a muscle memory where you get to a point where you just put that ball out in that same spot every time because that's where it makes proper contact for you as opposed to someone else who may have a different leg length or arm length. But, there's no question that in my mind you'd see it over and over again to a point where it really became second nature.
And you had told me once, you shared with me, that you hadn't really played football until your senior year of high school.
That's correct.
So tell us a little bit about that, please.
No, it was totally by accident that I got started playing. I had gone to get my senior picture taken, and as I left, I ran into the coaches, and they asked me if I wanted to play. So if they didn't do that, I never would have played. So I was really lucky to get started because kicking something I always liked was always something I loved doing, and I like to do after school for fun, but never thought about doing it for a team. So every once in a while I think back to the good fortune I had that day to get started.
And then how did you get to college? What was the transition from high school to college and then the pros?
Well, in high school, if you play well enough, colleges may show interest and want you to play for their school. So since I only played 1 year, not too many people knew about me, and I ended up going to a local school in the Baltimore area where I grew up, Towson University, because they had offered a scholarship. And, for every kid coming out of high school, that's a big deal to be able to get a scholarship. And, we all want to go to the Notre Dames of the world, and if you can, that's great. But if not, you go where you feel you want it.
And what are you up to these days? What's happening in your world now?
Well, I was really lucky for the most part to play most of my years between Philadelphia and New York. Geographically, they're close together. I have homes in both areas, and both teams use me for a lot of events. And also, both areas, there's so many things going on that, if people know you're available and how to get a hold of you, you can stay busy. So that's been great for me. I wish St. Louis was a little closer because I spent a lot of years there, and it's a great town.
Me too. Being from St. Louis, I get homesick every once in a while and always have to go. So.
It's a great town. I get out there once or twice a year for things, but again, fortunately, 18 of the 25 seasons I played were, within 90 miles of each other. So that allows me to stay very busy.
And you also do a lot for non-for-profit organizations, and that's always a wonderful thing too, like that whole give back. And who were some of the people that gave to you early on in your career? People that really inspired and made a difference for you?
Well, the thing that I picked up when I came in were the actions of the older players. That they had big names and they had made their money and they were stars, but you would see all the things they would get involved in the community and helping other people. And what you found out is a lot of times you get more from it than the people you're going to help. And my thought was, because I play pro football, if I can show up somewhere, do something that doesn't take much effort on my part, that can really help out a lot on the other end, you just feel like it's something you should do. And I'm glad to be able to say that through the years, I've done dozens and dozens, probably hundreds of those things, and I've gotten as much out of it by giving my time and all the things I've done as hopefully the people that I've tried to help.
Sean, I really want to thank you for inspiring me today and by coming and sharing with us about your life on Live It Up. And I was wondering, could I try on one of your rings?
Yeah, sure.
I can?
No yeah.
Cool.
There you go.
Oh, thank you. It's a perfect fit on my thumb. Thanks again for being here. I hope to see you again soon.
No, thanks for having me.
Thanks, Sean.